From Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. In today's non-conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on the Purple Knights of the University of Bridgeport. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, once again joined by my broadcast partner, Aaron Cohen. And Aaron, before we get started talking about today's matchup, we have to talk about how our last game ended. The Dolphins took on American International College on Saturday in a thrilling non-conference matchup, which saw the Dolphins come to within inches of taking the lead on a go-ahead goal in the final seconds. We didn't catch it immediately, but the flag did go up for offsides in that Dolphins goal, and it was nullified. The Dolphins had to settle for a 1-1 draw against the Yellow Jackets.
Heartbreaking way to end a game. Could have taken all 3 points from that, and it would have been quite the story. And like you said, we were jumping for joy because we did not notice the flag. We were able to look back at the film as well, and we thought it was extremely close. Very tough call for a linesman to be making right in the dying embers of the game. And you could even say, we know, such inexactness at the college level. One might have hoped that he kept the slag down and allowed the game to flow. But regardless, it was a really good, strong performance. A game in which the first half was not particularly their best play, but they really showed out in the second and made the most that they could with the opportunities that they had.
It was a very entertaining game, a back-and-forth game between the two teams this past Saturday. The Dolphins facing perhaps what was their toughest test of the season against the Yellow Jackets in that game this past weekend. However, the Bridgeport team has also faced the Yellow Jackets, and the Purple Knights defeated American International by a score of 3-2. They've also faced a team that was ranked number 1 at the time of their matchup in Franklin Pierce. This Purple Knights team, another group of very formidable opponents for the College of Staten Island entering today's game, and we hope that this trend of back and forth, highly entertaining games that come down to the wire continues here at the College of Staten Island. This men's soccer team has been incredibly fun to watch this year.
They have, and you hit the nail on the head there. Just good, balanced, entertaining soccer. From everything we've seen, I mean, look at the stats. They reflect that very perfectly. They've scored 9 goals. They've allowed 8. They've had 57 shots. They've allowed 57 shots. They have 10 yellows and 2 reds. Their opponents collectively against them also have 10 yellows and 2 reds. They've had 51 fouls. They've been fouled 52 times. So, I mean, everything you could basically look at in terms of core soccer statistics, they are right balanced on that knife edge. And especially at home, they've been able to prevent themselves from conceding too many goals, which allows them to stay in the games. And their attackers have the quality always to find the back of the net, whether that be through sustained pressure or just moments of brilliance. So a lot of things to look forward to whenever these guys step on the field.
Well, speaking of pressure, and many times during the game against the Yellow Jackets on Saturday, the pressure was firmly upon Dolphins goalkeeper Amari Thompson, and he rose to the task in that game. He was very strong on net for the College of Staten Island, now has a save percentage up at 80 on the season, but he made some huge saves in that game against the Yellow Jackets, giving the Dolphins an opportunity to ultimately play for that go-ahead goal in the closing minutes. And, of course, Miguel Espinoza right in the middle of the thing once again. A beautiful goal off the pass from Raul Naranjo, setting up Espinoza for the lone Dolphins score. And then, of course, Espinoza late in the game had a chance on that final run before being flagged for the offsides. Thompson, however, as I mentioned before, a big part of the Dolphins staying in that game. And we talk a lot about the goal scorers, the point scorers, but you can't forget about the goalkeeper. And Thompson, who has already won an East Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Week award, has been great for the Dolphins this season.
Amari Thompson, I mean, not enough could be said about his contributions to the team. Really all you could ask for from a goalie in soccer is to make all the consistent saves, make every play that's within your range every single time, and then as often as you can make the spectacular plays that are out of your reach. And Thompson does that and more. I mean, he is the rock of this defense for this team. He is an anchor. He is super important. I want to also highlight Miguel Espinoza, as you mentioned. He's been scoring goals. He's got 4 goals in the season. He's tied for second in the conference. He's tied with 2 people, actually, Thomas Nagy from Robert Wesleyan and Nicholas Sador from St. Thomas Aquinas. First in the conference is Kavan Evans from St. Thomas Aquinas. So Interesting little tidbit there in terms of conference news. St. Thomas Aquinas have 9 goals, not even goal contributions, 9 goals straight up from 2 different players. So that'll be interesting when we get to them later in the season. But yeah, Amari Thompson, very, very important. I'm glad you put a little bit of a spotlight on him today.
Well, speaking of the conference, Aaron, as we have just a few moments before the introduction of starters and the playing of the national anthem, this game today for the Dolphins will be their final game before conference play begins this weekend. The College of Staten Island men's and women's soccer teams will travel to Allen, New York, and take on Damon University this weekend in their conference opener. We certainly look forward to that. Unfortunately, that game's on the road. We won't get our first taste of conference play here at Dolphins Soccer Park until the end of the month when the Dolphins host Queens College on September 30th. But before that home match, we have one more home match to go for this men's soccer team. They take on the University of Bridgeport. That non-conference matchup is coming up next right here on CSI Sportsnet, a proud part of the ECC network.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Cobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, got 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You can vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we are back from Dolphins Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Aaron Cohen. And we just wrapped up the McDonald's pregame show here on CSI Sportsnet. McDonald's, of course, our great scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island. You our pregame show each and every home match here on the ECC network. Starting lineups have been introduced out on the pitch, and the national anthem has been played. Aaron, you have the starting lineups for both teams.
I do have the starting lineups, and we will start with the visiting University of Bridgeport. We are going to go through their lineup in numerical order. So we have Mihalis Christodoulis, we have Bruno Shockers, Noah Bolivard, Lucas Souza, Maximilian Kissel, Alex Tan, Jacob Reinhard, Joseph Perecci, Camrock Tovar, John Louis, and Lapo Romiri. Those are the starters for University of Bridgeport. And for the home CSI Dolphins, we are going to go through the starting order a little bit differently. We're going to try and do it as the projected formation. So the Dolphins usually like to play a 4-3-3. We have Amari Thompson in goal. At left back, we will likely see Michael Garcia. Center back pairing, same as it's been basically all season. We have Luis Asensio Cueva and Leandro Angulo back there, with Alex Morris starting at right back. For our midfield three, we have Daniel Angulo, the anchor. He will be that defensive midfielder. Brian Curlew will be more of a box midfielder, getting all the way up and down. And at attacking mid, Raul Naranjo, he has really been the core of the attack so far this season. On the wings, we'll have Steven Bronco and Julie Deplin. And up top will be Miguel Espinoza, as we mentioned in the pregame lead goal scorer of this team. Hopefully he can add to his tally today.
Dolphins certainly hope so, as they take on the University of Bridgeport in non-conference play. The Dolphins come in with a record of 1-2-1 on the season. The University of Bridgeport 2-2-2 on the year. And Aaron, I'm going to have to step aside next door quickly. You take over on the call, and I will be right back to the commentary booth as this game gets underway.
All right, as this game gets ready to start, and as kickoff potentially happens, let's talk a little bit about the tactical matchup that we're going to see. So, University of Bridgeport plays a 4-2. So, University of Bridgeport, sorry for the little bit of a pause. Bridgeport likes to play a 4-2-3-1 formation, and we can already see that in action now as ball is played in behind. Espinoza chasing, cleared out. Bridgeport has control in the middle, but they lose it. Here's Naranjo. Naranjo with a shot from distance, blocked. Now Bridgeport will look to get out of it. Daniel Angulo trying to stop the oncoming Romiri, and it's going to go out of bounds for a Dolphins throw-in. So let's talk a little bit more about the tactical matchup. 4-2-3-1 formation for Bridgeport. They don't like to press very hard. They'll give a little bit at times, but mostly they are content to sit around the halfway line and allow the opposing team to possess the ball in their defense, as we see here with Leandro Angulo. This is a team that likes to build out of the back in possession. They like to play long balls out from their center back, as we have a ball over the top here, and it looks like Bronco's going to get on the end of it. Can he play it across? Man open, and that was the end of it. Like a shot that did not find the target. A little bit of a disappointing effort from Bronco there if he had been able to square it. I think that was Alex Morris who was able to come all the way up. But regardless, it will be a goal kick for University of Bridgeport. Looking at the way the formations are on the pitch, it does look like Deplin is playing right back and Morris has moved up to right wing, contrary to what we had projected. Possessing now in the back is University of Bridgeport, playing the ball up. It's going to go all the way to Tovar, but they lose possession of the ball, and here's Deplin up the right side. Deplin goes back for Morris, but the pass had too much on it. Not accurate enough. And Bridgeport gained possession. There is Bruno Shockers. holding slow possession here is University of Bridgeport. Looking to play it forward now, down the line. It was a really nice ball up to number 11, Kissel, but just couldn't keep it in bounds. But they're going to set.
Sorry to interrupt you, Aaron. I had to hop back on headset. We're going to reset our audio situation right now. We're having audio issues here on Sportsnet. So we're going to reset our audio configuration. We will keep the live video with you, and we'll be right back. Once again, we apologize for the audio issues with our stream. We're going to reset our audio configuration and then come back with the rest of the first half. So give us a couple of minutes. Take in the video. Aaron and I will refer to you shortly. And we are back here on CSI Sportsnet. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Aaron Cohen. Hopefully, our audio situation has been figured out. We had to reset our audio connection, and we hope that corrects any of the issues we had. Aaron, why don't you speak so we can see if your audio is good to go?
Well, yeah, I had to jump in there a little bit on play-by-play, and I was trying to give a little bit of a tactical breakdown of what we might see from Bridgeport. But always that's hard to predict, and hopefully now my audio is coming in clearly on this microphone, as apparently it wasn't during the pregame.
I think you're okay. Though I might be a little bit higher than you. So Tyler, our engineer, will work on that to make sure you and I are reaching equal levels, but we hope everyone at home can now understand what Aaron is saying clearly. Aaron, why don't you provide some of the insight that you were about to give before our audio went out?
Sure. So University of Bridgeport, in possession, we've been able to see it. They like to be slow. They like to be patient from the back, and then they play long ball forward to their wingers. Did not quite work out there. They often like to try to pass through the middle to their center mids, but they are usually very sloppy in possession. They like to give the ball away there, as we see number 10 for University of Bridgeport, Lucas Souza, trying to control the play. Particularly number 6, number 2, Bruno Schockers, their right center back. He has quite the long ball in him. There we go. Give away in the back, just as I was discussing. So hopefully this tendency of theirs will give the Dolphins an opportunity to win the ball in high press and attack a vulnerable defense.
Well, we've seen the Dolphins utilize their speed to its maximum potential throughout this season, and you give the ball away to the Dolphins in the wrong spot, and very quickly they will have an attacker on goal and several players capable of making a strong run down the pitch and into a scoring position, as we saw in the game the other day against American International on that goal for CSI. Running off the ball, Espinoza got right into position for a header, and the Dolphins were able to even up the score at 1 following that goal.
Yeah, this is really a team that's built to counter, and Bridgeport is a team that plays to be countered. When they have the ball high up as well, they tend to push their wingbacks, one if not both, really high up the field, and that really just leaves their 2 center backs and maybe a defensive mid there to prevent a counterattack. And I just don't think if they do that here that they'll be able to deal with the Dolphins' speed.
Dolphins came very close to conceding a corner as they sent the ball over the far sideline, just inside of that corner flag. And now CSI will clear it into the midfield. Long ball up the pitch toward Tovar. Garcia heads it the other way. Now Tovar gets ahead on it. With it in the center of the pitch, Cassell, and he fires a shot on goal that is saved by Mari Thompson.
Speculative shot. Had a decent amount of venom in it. This team is certainly not afraid to shoot, so we may see that a couple more times from outside the box. But if there's anyone we trust to be able to handle that, it's Mari Thompson.
Well, Thompson was in the right place at the right time in many instances in Saturday's match. He had some blasts coming his way from in close and took some straight into the mitts from in close. But Thompson, as I mentioned earlier, was up to the task against a very tough Yellow Jackets team. They generated a lot of quality chances throughout the match this weekend, and Thompson was there for all but one.
You know, most goalkeepers have those reflexes, those ability to make the quick saves at close range, but oftentimes what really separates the good goalies from the great is your positioning, is being able to put yourself in a spot where you can make those saves at all times. And Mari Thompson does a great job of that very consistently.
Speaking of positioning, he got some help from one of his forwards. Benjamin Hernandez in Saturday's game kept one goal out on a header by Manuel Schwartz. He had a chance to add to his team-leading goal total for American International, put a header on target from in close, and it was kept out by Hernandez after the ball had gotten by Thompson. So Dolphins also providing some backup for their goalkeeper in that game this past weekend, and it paid off and helped them earn a metaphorical point in a non-conference match. Doesn't mean much, but they settled for the tie on Saturday, 1-1. Purple Knights have it now, their own end of the pitch, and taking a look at my starting lineup sheet. Again, the numbers on the front of the Bridgeport uniforms are a bit small. I mistook a 2 for a 7, but I was actually one starter short on my lineup sheet, which means you may have been one starter short, Aaron. I think you were as well.
I mean, I believe I have 11 here, but
maybe I made a mistake.
But even with that, they have a number 29 here starting. I don't have a number 29 on my listed starters.
Yeah.
So
you were one short because I had 10, and I think you copied from me. Nonetheless, the Purple Knights are on the attack here. I had 1, 2, 6, 10, 11.
Yes.
You know what? You're right. I did have 11.
Yeah. But just not exactly the right people because.
Okay, so we may have to check next door and make sure our statistician has the right 11 because we don't have the right 11.
Yeah, we have starting here at left back.
Who's missing is the question. Who's incorrect? We need to pass that information along next door. That's what we need to figure out. Who is the incorrect starter?
That's a good question.
That's what we have to figure out, and we need to figure it out before they make a substitution. So what we'll do, Aaron, you take over the call. I'm going to mark the correct players on my lineup sheet and let them know who is incorrect.
All right. From what I can tell, they mostly seem correct. It's just that number 29 is in and someone else obviously has to not be in for him to be there.
Correct. And I'm going to figure out who that is right now.
All right. I'll take over play-by-play. Dolphins here looking to build an attack that's been relatively cagey to start. No clear-cut chances except for that volley by Bronco. Long-range shot here. Okay, goalkeeper spills. Rebound, and it's in! Opening goal for Raul Naranjo. Very, very simple, long-range, speculative effort. I believe it was from Daniel Angulo. And the goalkeeper, Christo Dulis, had a lot of trouble. Didn't go down all the way to pick it up. Instead, it kind of bounced off his palms or even his knees. And Raul Naranjo, like any good forward, was privy to the rebound. He followed it up, and he got his reward. So an early lead here for the Dolphins, kind of out of nowhere. You know, I had just been talking about how they hadn't really developed that much in attack, but this is a great example of why you got to test the keeper early on. You never know what they may or may not be able to handle, and on some occasions you get lucky, and you got a guy in the right spot for the rebound. Raul Naranjo 1, Bridgeport University 0. Hopefully the Dolphins can build on this lead and continue their momentum. Here's Curlew. Attempted 1-2 with possibly Naranjo did not work out. Cross now for Bridgeport and is right into the hands of Amari Thompson. And it actually looks like what we have is an exchange between Naranjo and Espinosa. Naranjo playing up top at the moment, and Espinosa's dropped into a kind of 10 kind of role. Giveaway there by Michael Garcia, who's playing right back. It's going to be a throw-in for the University of Bridgeport, number 29. The starter that never was, Juan Carlos Magdaleno. Possessing now University of Bridgeport. Center back swinging it back and forth. Magdaleno. Bridgeport looking to slow the game down and retain their control. Long ball here from Shockers. Header was won, but Leandro Angulo cleans up. Bridgeport will let that fall out for a throw-in on the far side. That's Jacob Reinhardt. And he will leave it, actually, for Alex Tan. Down the line. Back to goal. And Naranjo with a great effort to make a tackle. Still going to be a throw-in. Alex Tan will take again. Over the top. Ball comes across. In the middle is Tovar. He can't make anything happen. Spits out, but Bridgeport retains possession. Quick passing in the midfield by Bridgeport. Comes out to Naranjo eventually, and now the Dolphins are going to look to counter. Angulo to Naranjo. He's got Morris on the near side, but he can't find him. That's great defending by Alex Tan. Got right in his face, prevented him from being able to look up and find his options, and even was able to get a tackle and prevent the counter. Deplin to throw. Just trying to find Bronco, but couldn't do it. Now it is Bronco. Trying to find space down the line. Nice cut. He's on his right foot. Ball over to Morris on the far side, and he's got some space. Back to goal. He plays to Garcia. Garcia, incisive pass to Espinosa. Cross the face of goal, and it looks like they're going to call the ball as out. And actually, that was not Bronco. That was Espinosa.
Okay, Aaron, so we got the starting lineup issue fixed next door. We were given incorrect starters, but we made sure to get that taken care of. Now, what we're still trying to work on is this audio issue. We thought we had it figured out last game after having some issues early in the season. Apparently that is not the case, and the reason that we're having issues right now and have not had them in the past is because our production software, production truck, is now being run by Huddle, and there was a recent update to the program, which is now making the platform incompatible with our audio. So what we had to do is change our audio output method. We were using a 1/4 inch to 3.5 millimeter for those who are familiar with audio equipment. Now we're using a tape out into a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and that's giving us problems. The original wiring does not work. As the Purple Knights are on the attack here, they look to cross. Getting a piece of it was Deplin on the outside, and Dolphins will head the other way.
Well, I'll tell you what, the quality of this team is very evident, especially in the attacking areas. I mean, that ball over the top was very impressive. It's a good thing for the Dolphins that they weren't able to make anything out of it.
That ball was knocked down by Magdaleno, and the Dolphins will throw in. So hopefully we're good the rest of the way. Our audio levels may be a bit lower than normal, but that's to prevent those audio spikes that cause the sound glitching. And once again, Bridgeport able to knock that ball down, this time in the penalty area, but the pressure is on, being applied by the Dolphins, and CSI will concede the goal kick.
Dolphins in a really good spot here to start off, defending this 1-goal lead. But Bridgeport are a team to beware of. They had that game, like you said, against Franklin Pierce. Now, it was a 6-1 loss, but it is a bit of a misleading stat line because it was only 2-1 until a 74th minute red card on the side of University of Bridgeport. And then after that is when Franklin Pierce scored 4 more. So they can really hang with just about anyone in Division II.
Dolphins were able to come away with a win or even a draw in this game. You have to think that would be a big confidence booster for them heading into conference play, as Curlio looked to play that one up ahead, couldn't get it through the back line of Bridgeport. Once again, that pass attempt knocked down. And the Dolphins continue to battle. Now, Aaron, we've spoken about it before, and the only reason I bring it up is because the Dolphins did make some changes after the goal, but once again, these white-on-white uniforms playing tricks on me. I'm looking for the starting 11, and I'm getting substitutes out there. The Dolphins sent Alex Morris onto the pitch at some point after the goal, so they did make at least the one change, but white-on-white jerseys playing tricks. Now, did I not have 11 CSI starters? Did you have Morris in the starting lineup, Aaron?
I did have Morris in the starting
Okay,
11.
then I, once again, had 10. Or at least thought I had 10. I did not have 10 for Bridgeport. I had the wrong 10. Or the wrong 11, I should say. 10 correct starters, but white on white again, Aaron. Commentator's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's very hard to discern the numbers, and unless they have other distinct physical differences in physical appearances, it can get confusing. I've already mistook a few of our attackers for one another a couple of times so far. Hopefully I don't do it again.
We'll get there. Palmieri had it in between two Dolphins. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick for the Purple Knights. So opportunity on the set piece here for Bridgeport. This one right at about 2/3 of the way toward midfield.
Oh, they're taking it quick.
Dolphins were ready. Garcia with a nice play there to dispossess Tovar. Thought about trying to get it to Morris. Instead plays it over to Angulo.
That's wonderful composure.
Espinoza for Garcia, and it's intercepted by Tovar. And now the Purple Knights have it in the midfield. The Dolphins continuing to apply pressure, forcing Bridgeport to play it back to their goalkeeper.
Michael Garcia is running into issues there on the near side, and part of that is because his right winger ahead of him isn't coming back to show. I mean, Morris is just kind of pushing forwards and not allowing himself to be a passing option, and I think Garcia would have a lot easier time if Morris were to drop back a little bit.
Purple Knights wanted a foul there, but instead they take it right back from CSI. 10 on the through ball, but the flag is up as Thompson made the stop anyway. That was Cassell on that last attempt, but he was offsides.
And even though he was offsides, you can still see signs of how Bridgeport are creating space. I mean, they are very, very good with intricate passing, technical ability in tight spaces in the attacking third. And that's the kind of interplay that Angulo and Asensio Cuevo have not had to deal with yet so far this season.
Those two have been a very formidable pairing for the Dolphins in the back, and we've seen them make a lot of goal-saving plays the last two seasons, keeping shots out that otherwise would have found the back of the net, getting in passing lanes, and just taking proper angles to the ball defensively to ensure that as many scoring chances as possible are cut off before they come to fruition. This is Morris. He has Angulo with some room up the far side. Make that the near side. Angulo with nice dribble work toward the center of the pitch, and Morris tried to get it back to him off the heel. He wanted a foul.
Yeah, Angulo had number 29 for the Purple Knights, Magdaleno, on his back, and he tried to make a cut towards the goal, but he just slipped a little bit, or caught the foot of Magdaleno, and unfortunately the interplay was cut short. Speaking of interplay, here is the Purple Knights trying to attack, but it's well done by Deplin to get in between the man and the ball. Now trying to progress as Bronco goes in sliding, and I think we're going to get a yellow card here for Espinoza. Lost track of the ball trying to get out of the press, and an attempt to win it back. He lunged, and it was a little bit too reckless. And the referee, who is not for nothing wearing the same color as the University of Bridgeport out there, had to stop playing. It looks like whoever was tackled is on the ground, not getting up. That does not seem very good.
An early yellow card in this match goes against Espinoza, who receives the booking. And you said it, Aaron, the player who is on the other side of that tackle remains down on the pitch being attended to by the trainer. So while we have a stoppage for the injury, we will step aside and take a break and hopefully manage to get our audio situation sorted out. We're still working on it and may have to do an extensive overhaul of our audio output ahead of our next game on September 30th. But
as a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
We are back from Dolphin Soccer Park. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Aaron Cohen. We continued to monitor our audio situation during that last break, and now we are certainly coming through lower. The problem there is that we may be a bit tougher to hear. You'll have to raise the volume on your sound system just a bit, but it will prevent the cracking if we come through lower for the rest of this game. So that may help out. As that's sent into the box, and Thompson plays it on a hop off of that free kick. Noah Boulevard had a chance. He was in close, and Thompson had to play that one on the short hop. Dangerous free kick there taken by the Purple Knights. Angulo gives chase and gets it over to Garcia, who plays it back to Angulo. Angulo sends one toward the far side. And I believe the Dolphins are just flagged for an offsides now. The CSI contingent in the stands didn't like it.
You know, I wasn't looking all the way over at Bronco, so I can't comment exactly on whether he was offside or not, but what I will say is it was quite the ball from Leandro Angulo. That's a very difficult pass, and it was right on the money. All right, and we have build up here for the Purple Knights, looking to go up the far side, but they find a brick wall, and Jude Deplin, I mean, he's having a great start to this game. Speaking of Curlew, trying to find someone in behind. It was Naranjo, but the pass was cut out. Another offside call, this time on Naranjo, and he looks confused. He doesn't understand why he was called that way. He doesn't feel like he was offside. Now he's getting talked to by the referee. Fans, again, were not happy with that call either. Nevertheless, possession now stays with University of Bridgeport. Here is Boulevard. Now back to Christodoulis. Oh, errant pass from Christodoulis. Gives it away. Now it's Morris. But mopping up, making up for it was Romiri. Throw in now for the Dolphins, but before that, we're going to have a triple substitution. And it looks like coming in is Fortune Uzo for Bronco. We have Brian Hernandez for Naranjo. And one more player coming in the far side, I believe that to be Jamali Peterson. Hard to tell with these white-on-white numbers that we discussed earlier. Peterson getting into the action. Off for Jamali Peterson is Espinoza. I should have said Benjamin Hernandez. My apologies. All right. Coming in for the header was Andrew Angulo, and there was a bit of a high boot there from Kamrock Tovar. Thankfully, no contact was made. Now we're going to get a substitution for the Purple Knights. Looks like we have Tovar coming off for number 7, Joao Miranda. And on the far side, we now have number 21, I believe, Joshua Lilly. But it's hard to tell all the way up here. Maybe that is not, could be instead John Louis. Possession now with the Dolphins. Looking up the left side to Uzo. Pass was cut out. Dribbling there on the far side from Louis, but he couldn't find a man. Very cagey even still. No team able to string more than a couple passes together. Uzo to Curlew. Hernandez finding Angulo, but Angulo's pass was awry. Here's Angulo again in space. Finds Garcia. Garcia looking to make a move towards the end line. And that will run all the way out for a goal kick. Garcia just apologies for the technical difficulties here, folks. We seem to be having some issues now with the wiring, trying to get down to the real core of the problem. Meanwhile, the Dolphins were on the attack. Ball in behind to Fortune Uzo resulted in a corner, which they've taken short. Here's Angulo. Couldn't beat the first man, unfortunately. It's going to come all the way back to Deplin. Uzo across to Garcia. Garcia hearing calls to shoot. He did. Shot was blocked. Now Morris. Trying to give to Garcia, but it's going to be a giveaway. Bridgeport are going to try to break. Romiri could not find a teammate. Partially down to the defensive efforts of Leandro Angulo, doing exactly what Joe described earlier in stopping the dangerous attacks before they really have the time to get started.
Okay, Aaron, I think we may have figured out what the issue is, but if we can, we have to try and revert back to the old version of the program because the old version gave us no audio issues all season last year. Unfortunately, we're having quite a few audio issues today, but we might be good for the rest of the game. We'll see if we figured it out. Meanwhile, the Dolphins still lead 1-0 with just over 17 minutes to play in this first half. CSI takes possession in the midfield, but they coughed it up. Sousa was being challenged by Curliu. And Sousa almost got it back off the pass there from Joao Miranda, but the Purple Knights keep it as Sousa gets taken down by Jamali Peterson. Good show of sportsmanship by Jamali to help him up. Free kick, Purple Knights. Looking to turn for a moment was Romeri. He could not. Instead gave it up to Tan, who plays it back toward midfield. Perecci is dispossessed by Peterson. Peterson looking for somewhere to go with the ball. He's able to play it back to Deplin. Deplin for Asensio Cueva. Cassell not far away. He had to give it up to avoid Cassell. And the Purple Knights take it back. 3 Dolphins around the ball handler. It finds its way onto the foot of Tan. Now Miranda toward goal, and Thompson knocks it away and plays it on the hop.
You know, surprisingly good effort from Miranda. Quite a bit out, somewhere around 35 to 40 yards. But yet he was able to find a lot of pace on that shot. Thompson was equal to it. And thankfully the rebound came right back to him.
Here come the Dolphins the other way. That pass intended for Peterson from Morris. Looks like there was a bit of a miscommunication there as the Purple Knights move through the midfield. Sousa sends one toward goal again, but Thompson first to it.
Really good 1-2 passing there in the middle to work around defenders. And Sousa had the vision of playing Romeri in behind, but way too much on that pass. He almost hit it too well.
That ball played up ahead for Peterson, who is flagged for offsides.
That one seemed fairly obvious, but it's a bit of a problem. And University of Bridgeport's high line has caused 3 or 4 offsides already.
Dolphins now have it. Garcia was dispossessed by Miranda, forcing Garcia to grab the jersey, but the Purple Knights keep possession. They send it back toward midfield. Tan gave it up along the far side. Louis battling in the corner against Deplin, who goes down. Possession stays with Bridgeport. As we approach 14 minutes to play, and Peterson commits the foul. And that will give the Purple Knights a free kick.
Bridgeport have been taking these short, so we may see that, but at this moment it looks like Sousa is lining up to swing it into the box.
Well, had one free kick that was taken into a very dangerous spot. It was taken toward the far post. Thompson had to play it on the short hop. And then, as you mentioned, Aaron, they had an earlier free kick that they decided to play short. See which direction they choose to go in here. As that is sent into the box. Heavy traffic, headed high over the crossbar.
Believe that was Kissel at the end of that. And then you can tell that they've practiced a lot on the training ground. And, you know, for all the positive things we can say about the Dolphins center back pairing, they are a very short center back pairing. Both Asensio Cueva and Angulo listed at 5'9" on the roster. You never see a pair of center backs both that short. So aerially could be an issue for this game.
Substitutions coming on for both sides here, as we have about 12:40 on the clock here at Dolphins Soccer Park. Dolphins maintaining a 1-goal lead. And Aaron, this game looks a lot like Saturday's match. We've seen a lot of similarities between this game and that game. The Dolphins were on the short end at the end of the first half on Saturday, but they lead by a goal here. However, this game does have a lot of similarities to that matchup against the Yellow Jackets.
That's right, very even. And the Dolphins having their moments. Speaking of,
Peterson stumbles just a bit and could not keep possession as he looked to take it into the box himself.
Oh, man, that's a moment he'll wish he had back. So much space and the numbers advantage, 4-on-3, but Peterson just lost track of it.
Miranda working toward the center of the pitch. Gets by McGuire. Hernandez still challenging him from behind. And that ball a bit too strong. Both Purple Knights very close to one another there. This is Fortune Uzo picking up speed as he moves into the attacking third. Now working toward the center of the pitch. Near the touch line. Chips one in the air. And that was contacted by players on both teams. The clock is stopped. And that was a very dangerous play as it looked like three different players, two Dolphins and a Purple Knight, both went in toward that ball head first. Of course, Bridgeport trying to clear, the Dolphins trying to put a header on goal. And that forces the stoppage, as you see on your screen, or perhaps not with the automated camera, but nonetheless, players on Bridgeport attending to their fallen teammate along with the official.
Yeah, it looks like you got hit in the head with something, so it was a head injury stoppage, and it looks like a yellow card issued to Jamali Peterson actually for something that went on within that collision. Thankfully, players up and is walking away. Surprised that they didn't go through the protocol of a forced exit of the field for a head injury, but nevertheless, we continue.
Looked like all three players were trying to get ahead on that ball, which is a recipe for a very dangerous situation. It's a bit surprised to see a yellow there. It's really tough to make out what happened in that mass of bodies down around the net, but Peterson receives the booking. Second yellow card against the Dolphins in this first half. And the Purple Knights look to build an attack with about 11 minutes to go in half number one. Once again, that buildup doesn't make it through the midfield, but the Dolphins give it away. Ball toward the far side for Kissel. Kissel working against a pair of Dolphins. Asensio Cueva forcing him back toward midfield. And we have a whistle along the far side. Question is throw in or free kick. Looks like it's going to be a throw.
Update on positions. It looks like Alex Morris with the substitutions has moved to left back instead of right wing where he was before, and right wing is now occupied by Benjamin Hernandez.
Dolphins, a strong challenge there, forcing the Purple Knights to concede the goal kick. Really nowhere for the attacking player to go, as Romeri got stuck between two white uniforms and coughed the ball up over the touchline. Under 10 to play in this first half. We await a Dolphins goal kick. 5 shots on goal thus far, 2 for CSI, 3 for Bridgeport. The lone corner kick belongs to the Dolphins. Asensio Cueva sends it far side for Morris. Immediately is met with a strong challenge. And it looks like Louis won a throw-in for the Purple Knights. He did. Tan will throw right to Louis. Tan gets it back, chips it ahead. That one off the head of Kissel, and that is blasted into the woods.
You know, I like the gusto on that effort. Really tough angle, but when you get the ball over the top and the flick on and it's bouncing for you just right, sometimes you can't resist taking the shot there. And the connection, at the very least, was sweet there from Louis, but really hard to keep that kind of shot down.
You know who doesn't like the gusto, Aaron? Our ball runner. Someone has to go after that ball. Thankful it's not me. Ball near side, knocked out of bounds by the Purple Knights. The Dolphins will throw from the attacking third. Garcia will take the throw. 8.5 minutes to play in half number one. Curlew right back to Garcia. Garcia looking to work toward the center of the pitch. He's cut off. Now pressure down toward the corner. Garcia tries to win the angle, and the ball was sent off of him. A good play there defensively by Soliani. 8 minutes to go, first half. The Dolphins will make a substitution ahead of this goal kick for Bridgeport.
We've really seen the depth of the Dolphins on display here in the first half. Plenty of substitutions. And remember, there's no re-entries for substitutes in the first half, so it's nobody coming out and then back on. Every substitution's a new player.
Takeaway by the Dolphins. Dangerous spot. McGuire shoots. I don't know if someone got a piece of that. I don't think so. I think that was just a misfire. And the Dolphins with a big missed opportunity there, Aaron.
Bit of a rush of the blood. He
Just
saw
a bit.
he saw things open up for him and wanted to go for the shot, but it got cut under his feet a little bit. Very poor connection. I'm sure he'll be disappointed with himself looking back on that after the game.
Do you think he had more time than he thought?
I think not only did he have more time, but he had more options. Uzo was coming in on the far side, and had he waited a few more beats, could have maybe found him on the far side.
And we have a flag for offsides in the midfield. The Dolphin contingent making their voices heard. Aaron has a big smile on his face.
Oh, well, you just love to see the support there from the home fans, and it's especially funny when it shows itself in the form of displeasure towards the referees.
I'm not sure how much of it comes over the microphones, but very often we do pick up some of the crowd noise. Tyler says we're getting all of it, so they're as much a part of the broadcast as we are right now.
A couple extra commentators never hurts.
A few aspiring officials, as I like to say. Free kick, Purple Knights. Sent toward the corner of the box, right on target. Looking to turn is Louis. He gets into the box, centers one, and that is sent high off the foot of Cassell. What an opportunity for the sophomore forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, it should be 1-1, Joe. It should be 1-1. There's no reason that shouldn't have found the back of the net. I'm sure Cassell would agree with us. But before the shot even happened, what a move by Louis, doing a little bit of a spin, dragging the ball away the whole time in order to find space for the pass. I mean, he is looking like a special player on the right side for the Purple Knights.
Louis with a tremendous setup for that shot attempt, and rush of the blood, perhaps, as we saw before.
Yeah, it just sometimes when you hit the ball in the first time, you can't keep it down, and it's the worst thing a forward likes to see is blasting the ball over the net because, every shot won't go in the back of the net, but you want to get them all on target if you can.
Well, the only time that I've ever put a soccer ball on goal is in FIFA on Xbox. And every once in a while, you'll press the button a bit too hard and launch it over the crossbar. That's as close as I can get to that experience. So I wouldn't know what it's like to be in that position.
And I'm sure you felt the frustration in that moment, even though it was virtual.
Yes. I didn't handle it as well, I can tell you that. A bit easier when I don't have to worry about a yellow card for language. There was one year where if you uttered any profanity during an NBA 2K game, you got hit with a technical foul.
Really?
There was. There was one year. That was back when they had the Kinect on Xbox. I took that out of my room real quick.
Oh, goodness. Well, the rules here are technically relatively strict on harsh language, but they rarely get enforced unless you direct that language towards the referee.
Massive bodies down to the pitch. Play continues as the Dolphins take possession. Hernandez now working into the midfield. Sends one up toward Peterson, but that was easily knocked away by Boulevard.
It was a hopeful ball. There was a run there from Peterson, but very difficult to pick out. Might be better for the Dolphins to approach with some more patient buildup.
Garcia for Hernandez and back to Angulo. Asensio Cueva. Sends one far side. Dolphins have it right along the midfield stripe. Nice dribbling there to avoid a challenge. I believe that may be William Lopez, but I can't read the number from here. That was the last Dolphin substitution that came on as that sent it to the box and bodied away. Dolphins did have some players that recently became eligible. We can actually check our live stats to see who those substitutions are rather than guessing. When it comes to the far sideline, Aaron and I are very far away. There's no way we're going to read any of the numbers over there. So let's go to the live stats.
Especially with the bright sunlight and the white-on-white numbers, I mean, we have almost no chance unless they come very close to this near sideline.
That's right. That's what we have live stats for.
That's
that is
right.
William Lopez.
Cheeky backheel attempt from Louis. Didn't come off, and Morris is going to get dinged for a handball there.
2.5 to play in half number 1. Free kick coming up for the Purple Knights. They've had quite a few from right around this area here in this first half, and this one will undoubtedly be the closest.
I mean, you can just look out onto the field along the top of the 18-yard box and observe the height disparity between these two sides. Not favorable for the Dolphins, I have to say.
Bridgeport will look to make the most of that advantage on this free kick. That's sent toward goal, and again it was sent a bit high, but not on target as the Purple Knights redirected over the touchline. Nothing doing on that free kick, but not a bad spot to put that ball.
No, very dangerous. Right on the edge of the 6. Very difficult for a defense to deal with. I will say there's been almost nothing to criticize Amari Thompson for this game, but you might hope that he could get some better command of his box there and come out and grab that cross, or at least get a punch onto it. Thankfully, he didn't pay for that indecision on that instance, but if that continues to happen, it could be a real problem for the goalie.
A quick side note, Aaron, as we approach 1 minute to go in this first half, it appears we have solved the audio issue. I think I have a workaround for now, but we need to try and get the old version of production truck back. As the Dolphins move forward on the attack, that ball sent up the pitch. Uzo is going to get there, looking for Peterson. Nobody home, but here comes Hernandez. Now under a minute to play. Hernandez from McGuire, too strong on that ball. It's cleared away, but Angulo was waiting. Chipped in the air. Lopez was first to it, but the Purple Knights take it, looking to counter. Just over 40 seconds to go, first half. Asensio Cueva sprinting back, got there ahead of Romiri, and Bridgeport will throw.
A little bit of drama here to end the half. Wow.
Yeah, you're right about that. 25 seconds to go. That's sent toward the center of the box. Hernandez heads it in the air, but could not clear it. Tracking it down is Miranda. He has 16 seconds. Gets by Hernandez. Chance to cross. He sends it toward the center of the box. It's headed by Angulo. Final 10 seconds of the half. McGuire has it and clears. As that will send us to halftime. The Dolphins lead the Purple Knights 1-0 through the first 45 minutes. When we come back, the second half of this non-conference matchup from Dolphin Soccer Park.
I feel like as a player, I've grown so much with this group and with my coaches, and my game has just elevated a lot more than it would have anywhere else, to be honest. So I'm just so grateful to be able to play with this team. And just being able to play in Division I soccer week in, week out, it's just getting the best of both worlds, having the opportunity to get a degree. You really have to appreciate what you have. And there's so many kids around the world that don't get these opportunities, so you have to take advantage of it for sure.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag, like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, we have a prodigy. So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. I loved the team. They brought me in like I was one of their own. The professors help out so much. They actually care about developing me, not only so I just memorize the material and able to take a test, but am I able to apply the information. I don't feel nervous asking them, hey, I'm not going to be in class, can you send me something? And they're completely fine with it and they understand, which is the best part. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I'm able to go out and become president of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. SAC is consistent of like a ton of different backgrounds, and we'll come up with cool ideas for like fundraisings and having the opportunity to raise money for Make-A-Wish and knowing it's going towards a good cause. Not only motivates me, but it motivates the whole community. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Dear soccer, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in this position today.
Thank you for being something that is more than just my sport.
Soccer really is the beautiful game, and it will take you more places and give you more experiences than you could have ever dreamed of.
The people that I owe the most to are my teammates. They have been my crutch to lean on, shoulder to cry on, my hype woman in times of doubt, and my best friends day in and day out.
You get to wake up every day and play the sport you love at one of the highest levels at a prestigious university surrounded by your best friends. There is simply no better feeling.
You have given me my best friends, my most trusted mentors, and the most essential experiences of my young life. You are my community. With you, there is no race, no gender, no rich, and no poor. There is just a ball, 2 goals, and a common language.
Thank you for teaching me how to be a strong and courageous woman on and off the field.
Thank you for giving me hope for the future.
On the soccer field, I found a home. That is where I have always belonged.
I've learned a lot of things. I think one of the biggest things is how to cope with people, because I think that at the University of Virginia, and just as you keep moving on in life, you're going to keep meeting many more people. And I think all of the connections that I've made just at the University of Virginia they've become a big part of me. I think even the guys on the team, I consider some of them my family. I mean, I wake up in the morning at 6 in the morning, I'm spending time with them all the way up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And I think that's one of the bigger things that I've learned is the relationships that I build with people, whether it be on the soccer field and off the soccer field, because even classmates at University of Virginia are some people I consider some of my best friends. And I definitely think connections with people and the bonds that you build with people that I know are going to carry on with me through my entire life, it's definitely some of the bigger lessons I've learned.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
I can't describe how much I learned as a player, but also as a human being, because you have to overcome challenges that you don't face in other areas. As part of the NCAA and obviously the college system itself, being a student athlete, there's so many challenges that not everybody else can relate to, and you have to try to excel in both areas. And now eventually you'll become a leader. Like in my case, I kind of had to step up into that role. And I feel like I've embraced that challenge, and now I love the spot where I am right now. I love how I've matured, become a leader, become the captain of the team, and hopefully I can help the rest of the guys win the Natty.
I was the kid who would do surgery on my teddy bear and have my sister be my patient, and I would wear the stethoscope and the lab coat. I was that kid. Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Dr. News, who is the head of the biology department, definitely has had a huge impact over the past 2 years I've been in the lab. He took a chance on me and actually gives me the power to actually do things. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. I've had so many experiences with underprivileged people and just seeing that they want the basic things that people get out of life. And if I can help in any way, that just kind of warms my heart. That's why I want to be a doctor, to serve those who have been dealt a bad hand. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. It was just because I bought into myself, because someone bought into me. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
Dear soccer, there are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you. From the moment I was brought onto this earth, you were all I knew. You have been with me and have seen me from a young little boy in Brazil to a well-rounded man in America. From all the days and nights kicking the ball at walls, breaking everything at home and making my mom upset, sleeping with a ball under my arms, making fun of my dad for beating him by 1 goal, never imagined that he will let me in just to see me smile. You were there for me. You were there with me. When we are together, nothing else matters. It's me and you. It's like the whole world disappears. Everything goes away, and we just enjoy it. I have always given you my all, my very best. Soccer, you have brought me to a place outside of my comfort zone, gave me an opportunity to live out my dream, and introduced me to my mentors, my role models, and most importantly, my family. You have been my teacher, my biggest fan, my biggest critic, and my best friend. With you, I was able to accomplish milestones that I'll always be proud, experience moments that I'll never forget, make memories that I'll forever remember, and live the life that I always dream about. So thank you. Thank you for turning the little boy who used to break things into the house to the man that I am today. There are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you, but there are words to describe the feelings that I have right now, playing in a Final Four, with the greatest team, the greatest coaching staff, with the greatest university, and with the greatest fans. Nothing will ever compare or measure up to this moment. We're not done. I hope to still have you with me for a long time and live many more great memories together. Thank you, soccer.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the second half of the College of Staten Island men's soccer's matchup against the University of Bridgeport Purple Knights. Score going into this second half is 1-0 in favor of the home Dolphins. They were able to capitalize on a goalkeeper mistake from Mihalis Christodoulis. And speaking of Purple Knight goalkeepers, we actually have a switch. Now in goal for the University of Bridgeport is Hugo, let me make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, Hugo Francesi. So it seems like, for whatever reason, Purple Knights head coach Peter Donite felt compelled to make a change. Potentially has to do with the goalkeeping error that led to the only goal of the game so far, as the Purple Knights take a free kick. They take it short. Souza carrying the ball. Gives it wide to Tam, but Alex Tam cannot keep it in, so it'll be a throw-in for Michael Garcia here. Garcia now has switched from right back to left back, which is where we thought he might have started at the beginning of the game. And that ball actually stayed in, blocked by Fortune Uzo. It'll come all the way back to Francesi. Plays it long. Cueva takes it down. Very good touch. Looks like we have a new player out on the right back position. Very difficult to discern the number from here, so we're going to wait for Joe to get back, and he will tell us exactly who that is. Similarly, we have Aiden Civio here on the ball. He did not appear in the first half, so he got the start here in the second half. Big physical presence. That'll help with the set pieces. Long ball from Angulo. Carolu keeps it in. Running forwards, trying to find a player in the middle. Out wide on the right. Cross is blocked, and it's going to be a corner for the Dolphins. Again, we can't see the numbers, so it's hard for me to tell who that is. But really great work there down the right side by the Dolphins to work it and get a corner. Corner will be taken by either Uzo or Naranjo. Only a couple players in the box. They got 4 right now, and they got Michael Garcia sort of sitting about 30 yards out. So, yep, they plan to take it short. Cross now comes into the box. Civio was there, but he couldn't get a head on it. And they're actually going to call a foul on Civio. It looks like Shockers with the clearance and winning the free kick to alleviate the pressure.
Thank you for taking over the call, Aaron. I had to work with our statisticians next door to confirm that we had the correct 11 for both sides. I've had some issues the last couple of games getting second half starters. A lot of the time we'll go down there and they'll tell us no changes from the end of the first half. And in some cases there are very many changes. So we had to eyeball it and make sure that we had it all correct. But we are good. Stats are set. Of course, you can follow live stats over at csidolphins.com. Link to our stats can be found on the schedule page and in our game day preview. But entering the second half, Dolphins maintain a 1-0 lead and look to get something going on the attack here. But that ball was taken away in the corner by Magdaleno. And it will be a goal kick for the Purple Knights, who did change goalkeepers. I'm not sure if you mentioned it yet, Aaron, but they did.
Yep, I explained that to them. What I was unable to clarify were a couple of the new starters. So, for example, the new right back could not discern that number from here.
I don't know if it lists all 11 starters for the second half on our live stats, but they definitely will have any changes from the first half. Ball played toward Uzo, and Uzo takes it away but could not keep it. Getting just enough of it to keep it away from him was Tan. That was awfully dangerous for the Purple Knights. The Dolphins maintained possession. Civio for Uzo. Uzo outside for Garcia. Cross. McGuire got there, but first to it appeared to be a Purple Knight, and that was Boulevard.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a really nice first-time ball from Garcia. Really great shape and into a perfect area. Just nobody on the other end of it that particular time.
Dolphins with a very threatening attacking play there. Angulo for Uzo. Uzo stops and gives it up to Angulo. Stephen Flores in the game for the Dolphins, making his first appearance here at home this season. I believe his first appearance overall, but we'll double check that. And it is indeed Stephen's first appearance in a game this year.
That would be the right back that I was unable to identify.
Flores played a lot of minutes for the Dolphins last season. I believe he was among the leaders in minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Sergio Cueva, center of the pitch for Civio.
Well, with a team that's had so much turnover and new contributors, it's nice to see a couple relics of the old setup.
That back line right now, 3 of 4. Those players are returners for the Dolphins. And those three, if I'm not mistaken, probably started together every game last year. If not all of them, I doubt any of them missed more than one. .38.5 minutes to play from Dolphins Soccer Park. There's no whistle there. Both players stayed down, perhaps expecting a whistle. It never came. Sousa with a nice move. Give and go. He gets it back. And a strong challenge from behind by McGuire to win possession back for the Dolphins.
And Gulo would be relieved there because he was a little bit embarrassed. Sousa with a nice little nutmeg. Quick thinking.
Where I lack in terminology, Aaron certainly does not, because I have no clue what he just said.
Allow me to educate. A nutmeg is when you kick the ball through somebody else's legs.
Got it. I knew there was a reason we brought you on. Aaron, a soccer expert, unlike myself. My expertise lies a lot more in the realm of basketball, baseball, football, which we called on Saturday immediately after I left. American football, of course. Had a 2-hour road trip after the game against American International on Saturday. We got there 7 minutes ahead of kickoff. Just in time.
Wow. That's cutting it close.
Very. Be on the call for some hockey on Friday night as well. Free kick, Purple Knights, is a long one.
So, some astute commentary from the fans. One person shouting "It's good," which is an allusion to American football.
No uprights on this turf.
That's for sure.
Certainly not in the corner where that ball ended up.
No. Rarely do you see a free kick like that go out for a throw-in without being touched.
That one headed by Shockers, but the Dolphins took it in the midfield, and they keep it. Uzo making a run. He is on sides. Uzo sprinting toward goal. Into the penalty area. Shoots and scores! Fortune Uzo with the Dolphins goal. Well done on the counter by CSI. They forced the giveaway in the midfield, and CSI leads it 2-0.
Props to Brendan McGuire here. There was a moment where we thought maybe the chance had gone. McGuire got lost in a sea of bodies there on the transition, but he spins around and is able to play Uzo through. And we all know once Uzo gets into space and he can attack using his speed, that he is extremely dangerous. And he noticed that the goalkeeper, the new goalkeeper for the Purple Knights, that is Francesi, gave a little bit too much space in the near post. And Uzo, with a really, really cultured left foot finish, slotted it just inside that near post. Very, very smart finish.
And you said it, Aaron. That was a very nice looking shot by Uzo to tuck that one inside of the post as the clock is stopped at 36:03. And it looks like the official wants to have a word with the Dolphin here, but Uzo gives the Dolphins a 2-goal advantage, and that's big, as CSI now has some breathing room. And I spoke about it before. If the Dolphins can pick up a win in this game, that has to give them a great deal of confidence entering their conference schedule. And we mentioned it earlier in the season, I believe during the home opener, maybe even more so after that. But this year in the East Coast Conference, 6 teams will make the playoffs, and that certainly helps for both the men's and women's soccer teams. Though the way they've played, it doesn't look like either of them are going to need spots 5 and 6 to make a push for the playoffs. Both sides have played really well. The women are still unbeaten. The men remain unbeaten here at home. Unfortunately for men's soccer, each of their first 2 conference matchups are on the road.
Yeah, they got 4 conference matchups in a row after this game. We talked a little bit about it earlier. They have Damon away and then Mercy away. And then they have 2 home conference games in Queens and Roberts Wesleyan. Currently, the Dolphins are the only team in the ECC that has not yet played a conference game. Some teams have even already played 2.
Dolphins had a bye from conference play. Many of the other teams in the conference played 2 games last week. The Dolphins played just 1. And a big reason for that was that conference bye, as that winds up in the hands of Francesi.
After those 4 conference games, they have a slight reprieve. They go away to University of New Haven. Not to say that that game is less influential, just that it is not a conference matchup.
Conference play brings with it a great deal of excitement to Dolphins Soccer Park, and with the way these 2 teams, men's and women's soccer, have performed early in the season, I think we're going to see some very meaningful games played in the month of October. I know Aaron and I are certainly looking forward to that. And of course, there's always the potential for the first ever Division II playoff game to be hosted here at CSI. There's more than one way the teams can make that happen.
That's without a doubt. It would be a lot of fun to see a conference playoff game hosted here in Staten Island. And not only is the excitement for us as broadcasters to cover playoff games, but this young and exciting new team is really something to be watching for any person here who supports the College of Staten Island. I mean, this is looking up to be a program that could be successful for the next few years, if not more, if they're to continue this way.
Purple Knights hoping to cut this Dolphins lead in half. And with that 2-goal lead, the Dolphins can afford to be a bit more conservative on the defensive side. However, there's still plenty of time left. You don't want to depart too far from what got you this lead.
This team has plenty of quality at the individual and collective level. A lot of players that can do a lot of shifty things. And we've seen that from Souza. We've seen that from Louis. So this University of Bridgeport team is definitely not out of it.
Ball bouncing around in the midfield here. And I did mention there are multiple ways to host a playoff game. Very quickly, the breakdowns for the playoffs will see the higher seed host every game. There is no set venue for the East Coast Conference Soccer Championship. So whatever team has the higher seed entering the championship will host. In round 1, seeds 3 and 4 will host. So if the Dolphins finish in the top 4, they're guaranteed to host at least one playoff game. And there's a hard foul that was not called. I thought for sure that was a foul, Aaron. Dolphin is down. I think that's Leandro Angulo.
He's got a hand on his back. That's not a particularly good sign. Hopefully it was just a tough knock. But medical staff is being ushered onto the field.
Well, it didn't look like there was much of a play on the ball. That's why I assumed that would be a foul. Sometimes there's incidental contact when both players are vying for the ball, but didn't see it there.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting non-call, you have to say.
You did mention the officials are wearing purple, Aaron. You said it, not me.
That's true. I mentioned it just as a state of fact.
Just saying. The aspiring officials love that.
Yeah, just purely as a visual aspect, it is a little bit more difficult, but it lends itself to an interesting narrative if you decide to do so.
We do not decide to do so, just to be clear. We do not decide to engage in that narrative.
No, we do not.
Angulo sprinting back out onto the pitch at that whistle.
Great effort, won the ball back. And that one is a foul.
And now Daniel Angulo is down.
They're attacking our Angulos.
Well, Daniel, of the two Angulos, when they go down, Daniel is typically the one who engages in a bit more of selling the call, making sure he gets that whistle. Daniel took at least 3 rolls across the pitch there when he went down. He made sure he got the whistle. Always gets it, though. Always gets the whistle.
It's, it's a lesson you have to take. Diving, as much as some people may dislike it, it does work for a lot of reasons.
Sousa moving into the attacking third now. And the flag goes up, offsides. Cassell had a chance. And we'll see how close it was if our automated camera got a good look at it.
Big cheer from the home crowd there for the offside call, and for good reason, because that was a very good run in behind, and had it been played just a little bit earlier, he would have been through on goal, number 11 there, Cassell. So
that was really close. Again, the perspective of the camera shooting from midfield can skew things, but watching that back, I thought he may have been onside.
I thought that there was a chance he was held on by, I think it was Asensio Cueva there, but thankfully the linesman thought otherwise.
We had a very similar play at the end of the game on Saturday. That call went against the Dolphins. It seems like when it's really close, the flag usually goes up, but then again, we don't often replay it unless the flag goes up. And I've been summoned into the room next door. Aaron, take over. I'll be right back.
Well, great ball down the line. And now here's a cross. Louis on the end of it did not adjust correctly, and that goes all the way through for a goal kick. A potentially dangerous situation there. John Louis was open at the back post, but did not connect with the header. And I'm sure he'll be thinking that he should have gotten on to the end of that. Substitution here. Hayden Sivio is coming off the field. New player in the center of attack. It looks like Curlew will dip into a more holding role. Jamali Peterson there had a nice one too, but gets called for offside with the new substitute. I wish I could tell you his name, but I cannot discern his number thanks to these white on white jerseys. As soon as I'm able to tell, I will let you know. Believe it might be number 12, Yusuf Dardir, judging by his height and what I believe was the number. Long ball forwards, looking for Cassell. It bounces through to him. Shot just past the far post. I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast that when building out of the back, the Purple Knights have most of their success when the long balls come from Bruno Shockers, and that was a perfect example right there. He really knows how to find the runner, and Asensio Cueva just couldn't prevent the ball getting through. Thankfully, the shot from Cassell was not on target. Goal kick from Thompson causing some trouble here. Cassell goes over, and he will get the whistle. So it's going to be a free kick in a dangerous area for the University of Bridgeport. About 25 yards out and a little bit off center. So not likely to see a shot, although it's certainly possible that we might. And the way that Lucas Souza is lining this up, he might be going for that near corner. He is, but Thompson's there. Leaping save, but relatively comfortable catch for Thompson. And I now will confirm that that is number 12, Yusuf Dardir, who is now in the center of attacking midfield area. Ball bounces high over Peterson, and he will eventually bring it out wide, but the pass is intercepted. Great passing from University of Bridgeport to get out of the situation. And look at the quality there from João Miranda, and he got some contact. Referee will eventually bring it back. No, it actually looks like João Miranda is getting a yellow card for dissent, and he comes off the field. I'm not entirely sure what just happened. I don't believe João Miranda had a yellow already, but he is off the field. I'm currently counting 9 outfield players for Bridgeport. So I'm not sure if that was a red card. I guess it must have been a red card. I wish I could inform you guys, the audience, about exactly what happened there. My best guess is that João Miranda was hoping for a foul call, did not get one, and then based off something he said to the referee, he gets a red card. And I just got confirmation from the room next door that he did get ejected from the game. So now not only are the Purple Knights down 2 goals, but they're down a man. And that's going to make it really difficult for them to get back into this game. Great ball across from Sivio to Uzo. Uzo in space on the near side. Now back wide, crossed into the middle, and that will be caught by Francesi. Quick pump from Francesi trying to catch the Dolphins off guard. Eventually comes bouncing back into the middle third and collected. Now the Purple Knights come forward. Here's Cassell. Trying to move past Angulo, and they're going to call a foul on that. Angulo will get a yellow card. Potentially worth it, though, for stopping that counterattack. The last thing that the Dolphins need to do is give the Purple Knights any kind of momentum. CSI should have full control on this game for the remainder of it, and that's a little bit less than 26 minutes. Free kick coming in here from Souza. He's got a very, very good left foot, so he should be lining up for an outswinging delivery here. Got 6 players in the box for the Purple Knights. Everyone back for the Dolphins. Swung in. Headed away by, I believe that was Angulo. And it's going to be another foul on Jamali Peterson. Just too much contact and mental lapses here from the Dolphins. Giving up unnecessary fouls, seemingly forgetting that they have the man advantage. And give Souza another opportunity to whip it in, and he has proven to be very dangerous on the delivery. Again, everyone back for the Staten Island. Everybody in except for one for Bridgeport. Referee is going to stop play for a second to talk to the players. Getting a little bit too chippy maybe. Souza went for a shot in a very similar spot. This one's a little bit further out than the previous free kick. Again, the referee stopping play to talk to the players. Seems like he isn't happy with the way that they are tussling in that area. Delivery from Souza. In swinger. And it's a goal line clearance. It's still in play, and Thompson collects. Well, again, Thompson just a little bit unsure coming out for that ball. Did not get the contact he wished for. Luckily for the Dolphins, Leandro Angulo was on the line. Able to make the clearance with his header. Incredibly clutch. And then Thompson comes to collect the clearance, which had just gone straight up in the air. And now Thompson is on the ground. It looks like Thompson's left cleat came off, and he just needs to put it back on. Very interesting. Don't see that very often. They've completely stopped play to allow him to do it. That as well is unusual. But the referee standing directly over Thompson, waiting for him to get his cleat back on, and he's trying as fast as he can. But for a goalie, you have to take your gloves off to tie your shoes again. A lot of times you'll see goalies, when they have a shoe untied, one of their teammates will come and tie it for them because they don't want to take their gloves off. Not here. And it looks like Thompson is okay. He's about ready to resume play. Thankfully, I thought he went down because he had hurt himself a little bit. That's what it seemed like. But no, it was just a loose shoe. And the referee giving him all the courtesy. Very thankful for that. And now play resumes. Here's Asensio Cueva. Gives back to Thompson. Clearance got a little under it, but it'll do the job for now. Good work there from McGuire. Throw in for the Purple Knights. But before that, we will have some substitutions. Into the game for the Purple Knights comes number 25, Valapo Ramiri. And into the game for the Dolphins comes 3 players. And I believe that is going to be Naranjo as well as Deplin. And one more player on the near side for whom I have not been able to see the number quite yet. Looks like it is number 16, Adrian Montalvin. Freshman from New York, New York. I will double check that and make that correction if needed, but for now it looks like it is Montalvin. It looks like if I'm reading this correctly, the Dolphins have shifted their formation to just be a little bit more defensive. So they're playing a pseudo back five, but in reality it's a 4-4-2. And they're just going to sit back a little bit more and take in the pressure because they already have that lead in the man advantage. No need to press forwards and open up space behind. So although Montalvan is playing left mid, as he is a forward, it's a very, as he is a, Montalvan, no, is a forward. He's playing a very reserved kind of left mid position. Very far back in defense when off the ball. Possession here from the Dolphins. Now they play it long forwards. Uzo chasing, and he's got dangerous speed. Getting away with it is Boulevard, and now the Purple Knights will sit in possession. About 22 minutes left in this competition. Here's Alex Tan. Switch here, Boulevard on the ball. Gives it wide. First touch was inside, and Bridgeport lose possession. Dolphins give it right back and then win it back again. Deplin trying to make the run forwards, but Dolphins really having no reason to push it. Dardier plays it forwards, and now here's Deplin again. Nice move, finds Uzo. Uzo in space, got a man on behind. And that's going to be a free kick. I believe that was 21, Joshua Lilly. Or perhaps not. It's hard to tell the numbers from this far out, as we've said multiple times. No, it looks like that was Ramiri. Just put in a little too much contact on Uzo from behind. And while Uzo actually really did try to stay up, he did eventually go over. And now the Dolphins have a free kick in a very dangerous area. Standing over it is Naranjo and Curligue. Meanwhile, on the far side, Dolphins have a player down.
I feel like I've said this a few too many times this season, but thank you again, Aaron, for taking over.
It's my pleasure anytime.
It's a good thing that you're here. But it's also a good thing I'm here, because now, when this game is over, we'll be able to wrap up right away. I have a conference call at 4:30 as we get ready for our hockey season over at the U.S. Premier Hockey League. That's a separate venture of mine outside of CSI, but next door we had a stats issue. Made sure we got that taken care of. And I'm thankful to be back in the commentary booth. Free kick Dolphins coming up here. They lead by 2 and also have a one-man advantage, as that is sent on goal and saved off the foot of Naranjo. Long ball sent almost the entire length of the pitch, handled by Amari Thompson.
Bit of a weird moment there as he kind of scooped it back into the box. He really could have just taken it with his feet and dribbled it in, picked it up at that point, but it doesn't matter anymore.
Purple Knights have some work to do. Might need a break or two to go their way as well. Strong touch toward the corner there, off the foot of Cassell. Being challenged by Garcia. He tried to send it into the box, and Garcia stonewalls him.
Garcia did not even know where the ball was after he blocked that. He was looking around. It was right in front of him. And because of that slight confusion, through no real fault of Garcia's, Purple Knights have a corner.
I just said the Purple Knights might need a break or two to go their way, down a man and trailing by 2 goals. And if you're Bridgeport, that's certainly a good start, as the Dolphins concede the corner kick, the first of the game for the Purple Knights. Sousa will take it. He sends it a long way across the box. Does find a man open along the touchline. And it will be a goal kick for Staten Island.
It's a real waste for the Purple Knights. Got to be getting more out of your corners when you're in this situation. The delivery from Sousa was not a bad one to the far post, but it just doesn't look like it was the type of delivery they were looking for on that set piece. No one was there. And then on the far side, I believe that was Romeri trying to make a move to find another cross, and he just let it right out of bounds.
Dolphins send Christopher Cardozo into the game. I believe Ailey Dawson also checked in, but again, a bit tough to make out the numbers. I believe Dawson and Cardozo are the two Dolphins who just entered. Purple Knights have it in the midfield. Perecci looked to turn, had to give it up.
I believe the Dolphins have recognized the control that they have over this game, and they're trying to use just as many bench players as they can reasonably in order to give some of their regular starters a rest, considering they just had a game on Saturday, and now here they are with another one.
As we mentioned earlier, the team will be back at it this Saturday. Foul called against the Dolphins right along the midfield stripe. Free kick for the Purple Knights, taken quickly. And Luis pass a bit too wide, intended for for Alex Tan.
Louis has been very, very quiet so far this half. Haven't seen that much action from him, but if he gets the right moment, he will make his impact.
Sousa. For Perecci, who sends it off the official.
Purple Knights might be frustrated by that new rule. Every time the ball hits the referee, play must be stopped and resumed with the drop ball.
Tan. That was deflected and headed away. Dawson fighting for it. Louis has it now. Seen some good dribbling from him in this game. Could not escape a pair of Dolphin challenges. Had to give it up. Now Tan again. Quick passing here by the Purple Knights. Boulevard, far side. Another strong challenge there by the Dolphins. CSI does win possession back. Dolphins continue to work right around the midfield stripe. They are more than content to take their time. Both Leandro Angulo and Luis Asensio Cueva still in there at the center back positions. As many changes as the Dolphins have made, those two have been a constant.
Center backs are the core of the defense and a real important piece for the stability of the team, so rarely will you see a center back subbed out. Especially when you have such an effective, established pairing such as Asensio Cueva and Angulo. No reason to mess with that chemistry.
Just over 15 and a half minutes to play from Dolphin Soccer Park. Purple Knights looking for an opportunity here on the cross, and the header goes straight up into the air, allowing Thompson to bring it in.
Really swift movement on the far side by Romeri to create space for the cross. Little flick around the defender and able to float a very accurate ball for Cassell, but it was well defended by Angulo. Made it difficult for Cassell to make good contact.
Cassell's been right in the middle of those plays that have involved headers on the Bridgeport side. We've seen them try and send free kicks in his direction right there, the cross in his direction. And you mentioned it earlier, Aaron, the size advantage for these Purple Knights over the Dolphins at that spot. And they were able to take advantage there, though it does not result in a shot. They did make contact with the ball. Now under 15 minutes to play from the College of Staten Island. Once again, the Purple Knights look to cross. It's broken up and cleared by the Dolphins.
Talked a little bit also about the individual qualities that these players possess. One player that I didn't mention in that moment was Romeri, but, I mean, he's making it clear that he has some very, very good dribbling abilities to maneuver around defenders.
Sousa takes it away, working toward the center of the pitch. Looking for somewhere to go with it as he tried to send it toward goal, but you could see 5 or 6 white jerseys between him and the net.
And at first that looked dangerous. It was a giveaway in a bad spot, but with the formation adjustments that have been made, the numbers that got back behind the ball was very impressive. Prevented Souza from getting a shot off in a good area.
Curlew through the midfield. Cardozo. Back to Asensio Cueva. Naranjo.
Hearing shouts from Amari Thompson to keep us stretched. Seems like that's an emphasis on trying to make it easier to maintain possession and not be scared to open up, even though we're trying to be a little bit more defensively conservative.
Dolphins have it again in the midfield. Look to move forward on the attack. That ball was intended for Cardozo, it appeared. Cardozo had that ball broken up. Not sure where that was headed, whether it was on goal or somewhere else.
Interesting note there. The far side linesman was flagging for a foul against Bronco. Felt that he made too much contact after he lost the ball, but the center ref waved him off.
I did see that flag. Wasn't exactly sure when it went up, but I did see the side judge waving the flag. More appropriately known as the lines judge in soccer.
The linesmen, their main responsibility is to watch for offsides, but they have the capability to request for any other type of call. It's up to the center ref, though, to make the final decision.
Dolphins had given it away, but took it right back. CSI now has it in the midfield. Curlew avoids a challenge, turns quickly, and moves forward.
What a turn.
Plays to the far side. Dolphins looking to generate something on the attack here. And very quickly they work it back into the midfield.
It's clear that the Dolphins are preferring safety of possession over the risk of going forward and losing the ball. And you can definitely understand that, considering the lead that they hold and the danger that some of these players on the Purple Knights have presented.
You're absolutely right about that. You can see the Dolphins, when it looked like they may have had some momentum moving forward on the attack, decided to play it back and maintain a longer possession. Cardozo now has it along the near side, thinking about where to go with it. Got it onto the foot of Bronco, who chips it in the air. Dawson couldn't get to it, and it's cleared by the Purple Knights.
That was a good idea by Bronco. And there was some space there, but the ball was just tipped a little bit too high into the air, and the defender had time to make an adjustment.
You highlighted it last game, Aaron, but we've seen it again today. How good has Curlew been in the midfield?
Curlew is really the engine. I mean, he is the heart and soul of this team. He works back on the fence. He's creative in attack. Don't really know where these guys will be without him. I mean, there he is again.
In terms of winning possession, turning quickly, and helping the Dolphins to move forward on the attack, and then plays like that off the heel, he's been so vital to this Dolphins team. And if I'm not mistaken, that's without registering a point yet this season. And he has not yet registered a point, but that does not take away from what he's done and how important he's been to this Dolphins team.
Not only does he have impressive technical ability, but his vision is second to none, I should say. He always seems to know where the defender is on his back, and he always seems to know where the right pass is to find.
That's sent to the box. Louis got there and could not keep it in.
And I talked about the danger that these players can present, and there's an example right there. And Louis has to be frustrated. I mean, he was in on goal there, but his first touch really let him down.
It was a foot race toward that ball, and Louis definitely got there ahead of Thompson. And that was not what the Dolphins were looking for. Purple Knights Just a goal away from making things very interesting in the closing minutes, but time is running out as we approach 9 minutes to go from Dolphin Soccer Park. Purple Knights have it. No time to waste here for Bridgeport as they play it forward. Cassell had no choice but to give it up. Two Dolphins right in front of him. Boulevard for Souza. Short pass to Ramiri was taken away by the Dolphins. Fight for it along the far side. And the Purple Knights had it for just a moment. Big tangle up, no whistle, play continues. Dolphins keep it. That pass was nearly intercepted by Perecci, and we have a whistle for a foul.
Well, this game has reached a relatively interesting point of calmness where it seems like, you know, regardless of each individual's drive to make a difference, both teams have generally accepted the outcome of this game. And it's really died down in terms of intensity in the last couple minutes. And the credit for that has to go to the Dolphins. They've done a great job of controlling possession and just killing any fire that the Purple Knights might have had. Regardless, we know that these free kick deliveries can be dangerous from Souza, so we will have to see how the Dolphins defense will handle that.
Meanwhile, we had a yellow card issued to Dolphins head coach Alex Kuba following that last whistle.
Everyone in for the Golden Knights.
Hockey's not until Friday, Aaron.
Whoops, well, that was a slip of the tongue. I meant for the Purple Knights. Every time I was saying Purple Knights, I was thinking about it in my head, and I was hoping I would never actually make the slip, and there it is.
I'm shocked that I haven't done it because I have a lot of Golden Knights merchandise in my online store.
That's right. You're a Vegas fan. I forgot about that.
Raiders fan. I'm a Rangers fan, but in terms of what sells, I'm a fan of any team that keeps the business running and keeps the lights on. The Golden Knights with their Stanley Cup victory, certainly a part of that. Tyler and I both looked at each other when you said Golden Knights, and we knew we were thinking you were going to catch it. It looked like you did.
You know, every broadcaster has their slip-ups.
Mine get buried deep in the memory hole. We still insist that my big screw-up last year was an audio glitch as the Purple Knights move forward on the attack. And Aaron's now wondering, what's he talking about?
I guess I'll have to find out at a later time.
Long story short, I had received an important message as that sent it to the box and grabbed out of the air by Thompson. We were actually attempting to book a client outside of CSI. I broadcast games for my company as well. You're familiar with PDF. Of course, you've covered games for us, but
that's correct.
We were trying to book a client, and I was in the middle of reading a text message as we had a strikeout. So the strikeout happens, and I almost read what was on my phone when I looked up, and I had to stop myself, and what came out of my mouth was just nothing. It was gibberish. It sounded like the audio system glitched out. No one had any idea what I just said, so I go, "Excuse me, that's strike three," and we went to break.
Well, oh my gosh,
we pretend it never happened.
When you're doing a job that involves talking just constantly, you're bound to do something silly every once in a while. I certainly have learned that lesson.
Back in the day, when Sportsnet crew was a bit smaller, it's really remarkable how much we've grown in terms of manpower. But Sportsnet, for the most part, used to be maybe a 3 or 4 man operation, with many of the games called by myself, our former SID, Dave Pizzuto, who of course works alongside us at PDF, and the great Mike Babusky, who got the opportunity to retire. I think he moved down to Florida, so congratulations to him. Of course, Mike worked in the bursar's office, but also called games for us here on Sportsnet. The amount of times that Dave called me Mike definitely made for a tally. It was tally-worthy. We had a lot of those, you know how you have the fifth tally and you do the diagonal line?
Uh-huh.
We had a lot of those.
Yeah, okay.
It added up over the years.
Well, I guess I could say I'm thankful you don't call me by some other name all the time.
We've never had another Aaron. I could potentially go with Andrew if I really felt like trolling.
Oh, nice
Dolphins
combination.
With some nice passing there. Spring Cardozo through. He sends one in front. But fortunately for the Purple Knights, Rubio got back and was able to clear it away. Luis Rubio, a recent substitution for Bridgeport late in this game.
Shot was weak, but did well to get something on target as the goalkeeper had really cut off most of the angles. Goal line clearance there, aided by the lack of velocity on the attempt.
I wasn't certain if it was a shot or just an attempt to put the ball in front for somebody.
I think more than anything, he was trying to just prevent it from going into the goalkeeper.
Clock stopped at 4:01. So with the team leading, that being the Dolphins, making a substitution under 5 minutes, clock gets stopped. Throw in taken by CSI, quickly won by the Purple Knights. Time running out for Bridgeport. Moving toward the center of the pitch, Perecci, he gave it up. Through ball for Louis, cleared away by Angulo. Another great defensive play by the Dolphins center back.
Well, you could chalk a lot of this result up to some bad luck by the Purple Knights.
Oh, my goodness. And we have a game.
I mean, time and time again, I mentioned the individual quality.
It didn't go in, Aaron. It doesn't count. There was a whistle ahead, I believe. Did they put it up on the scoreboard yet?
It looks like they're...
I thought it went in. Okay, it did go up. I thought the goal didn't count because they didn't put it on the board.
You're causing some confusion over here, Joe.
I was confused.
Well...
What a shot by Kamrock Tovar, if I'm not mistaken.
As I've said multiple times throughout the broadcast, this team has plenty of individual quality, and there is a prime example of that. And now the Dolphins looking to respond and try to regain control. Thankfully, there's not that much time left.
That shot came seemingly out of nowhere, Aaron.
Yeah, there was no build-up. The ball kind of just fell to Tovar in some space, and he decided to rocket it. And wow, did he find the right corner. And just put so much on it that Amari Thompson had really no chance. And you rarely say that about long-range efforts.
Well, the Dolphins certainly now will focus on keeping the ball away from the Purple Knights for as long as possible. As Espinoza looked to turn there, he did have a lane. Great dribbling by Espinoza. He moves in, sends one in front, and the Dolphins, with a chance to go up a pair, send it wide. That was Naranjo on that shot attempt, and he just deflected it off the side of his foot.
That's a sitter. That's a sitter right there. Naranjo is a player of quality, but that is a bad moment. That might end up being one of the misses of the season. Great work from Espinoza on the near side. He was able to get the tackle commitment from Shockers, and then once Shockers put his foot forwards, Espinoza was able to flick it past his foot because he was off balance. Great pass into the middle, and Naranjo just, what a miscue.
It will be easily forgotten if the Dolphins hold on. But a chance there for CSI to take their 2-goal lead right back. Keep in mind, it took an incredible shot for Bridgeport to score. As that one rolls toward the touchline, and it's cleared away by the Dolphins over the sideline, so no corner. Unless the official ruled the Dolphins didn't get there in time. They did not.
You know, for the first time this season, I am sensing some general apprehension from Amari Thompson. He seems a little unsure on a couple of these decisions to come out.
Well, they do make it a throw, so the Dolphins did indeed get there in time as we approach 1 minute to play.
Remaining.
1 minute to go from Dolphin Soccer Park. That's sent in front. Thompson punches it away. The Purple Knights putting the pressure on late. The Dolphins looking to hold on. That's it toward the far post, headed on goal. And the flag is up. Offsides is the call. We will get a second look at it, but it looked for a moment as if Bridgeport had tied it. We will look at the replay.
Wow. This is unbelievable. The second game in a row where we've had a goal in the last minute chalked off due to offside. And thank goodness it was for the Dolphins, because needless to say, giving up a 2-goal lead to 10 men is not good. Very, very embarrassing that would be. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that.
Well, you're not one to mince words, Aaron. As the Dolphins hold on and pick up the win 2-1. And this time, Aaron, I made sure to check the linesman, the lines judge, for the flag. CSI holds on. They defeat Bridgeport 2-1. Dolphins now 2-2-1 on the season. Bridgeport 2-3-2 on the year. For CSI, they move on to conference play this weekend as they take on Damon University on Saturday. They then travel to Dobbs Ferry for a matchup with Mercy College next week on Wednesday. Aaron, for you and I, this is the last time we are on the air until September 30th. So from all of us here at CSI Sportsnet, thanks for watching. This has been Joe Foreman alongside Aaron Cohen on the call for CSI Dolphins men's soccer. The College of Staten Island defeats the University of Bridgeport 2-1. Be sure to tune in for the conference home opener at the end of the month on September 30th as the Dolphins reignite their rivalry with fellow CUNY institution Queens College. We'll see you then.